All right, cool. We'll get started here in a few minutes. Hope everyone's doing well today. Feeling a little bit under the weather today. Throat's kind of hurting, so I'm gonna try not to talk as much. So I'm gonna lean on Steve a little bit more today.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. How are you? Sorry to hear you're not feeling too well.
No worries. If you hear me blowing my nose, I got a big tissue box next to me too, so just a heads up.
Got it. Yeah, I'll try to do more talking today.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna.
Sorry if
I asked AI. AI said it might be like allergies or something like that. So I took like a Claritin, like an allergy med, just to see if it changes anything. But I don't know, dude. It doesn't feel like allergies, so we'll see.
oh. And I was wondering, did you ever fully recover from the last time? Because you were it was kind of lingering around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I recovered and then I got sick again.
Okay. I mean, it's kind of strange too, because it's like you're getting sick in like, June, July, right?
So weird,
So
bro. I
maybe
don't even leave the
maybe it's
house.
allergies. I don't know. Yeah, you were saying you don't leave the house. So. Oh, maybe it's allergies.
Yeah, I don't know. I do not know.
Yeah.
So we'll get started here in a few minutes, guys. Morning, morning. We got less than a month until our meetup.
Man, time is flying. Morning, guys. Carlo, Ed, Mr. Simple. Aren't you up?
Morning,
Here's
morning.
some. Thanks,
How was the
Moss.
barrier
Here's some
reef,
pics.
Steve?
Man, I just posted some pics. It is amazing. If you guys are listening to us come into webinars, I just posted there, but next level, man. I don't know what to say. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah, that's
We
pretty
did
sick,
like
dude.
one of those small airplane tour deals, and yeah, it was just absolutely amazing. I've never seen anything like it. Yeah, Toops. This area really is magical.
Also, congrats to Phil, who just got married a few days
Yes,
ago.
sir. Huge congrats, man. Super excited. Saw some of those pics, Phil, but yeah, feel free to keep sharing. They look like a lot of fun. Congrats, man. That is awesome. Welcome to the club. Now there's no getting out.
So we'll get started here shortly, guys. All right, guys, let's get started here. So, excuse me. Morning, everyone. Welcome back to live trading. I kind of feel a little bit under the weather today. My throat is kind of hurting. It's been hurting since last week. It might be allergies. I don't know what the hell it might be. It might be strep throat. So after this, I'm gonna go to the doctor, see if they could give me some meds to, get me back to normal. But I want to kind of come on here, obviously trade the morning, and then hopefully have the freedom to go out and check myself out. Hopefully start to feel better. So I'm not going to be talking as much today, simply because it's kind of exhausting to use my voice. I have like a tissue box next to me too, so I've been kind of sneezing a lot, runny nose. So if you guys hear me blow my nose, I apologize for that. But yeah, I mean, same thing as always. I would say this week is a really important week in the market. This week is big cap earnings: Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, and also it's the Fed rate hike decision. So we have Federal Reserve news this week. We got earnings news this week. In my opinion, the same thing that happened on on Google and Tesla, it's probably going to happen on all these other names. They're going to continue to raise capex, and regardless of what they do on their earnings numbers, it's not going to matter. All that's going to matter is the capex, the capital expenditure numbers, the money that they're spending on AI. And the fear is that they're spending so much money on AI that they're not going to see a return. And in my opinion, these companies are the biggest companies in the world. You don't get to a $3 to $4 trillion valuation by being wrong. So I don't think that these companies are wrong in the long term. In the short term, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money they're spending, right? I mean, when you're spending $1 trillion a year amongst these like 4 or 5 companies on AI, $1 trillion a year, that's a big risk. But I think that these guys would not be deploying that type of money unless, again, honestly, they knew something that we didn't, right? So I think in the short term, yeah, their prices might be punished. But man, what a great opportunity for long-term investors to get into some of these stocks. Think about it. Berkshire Hathaway got into Google. They added on Google at it was like 350, 370 type of thing. I forget what the private placement was. But dude, you're getting in at a better price than Berkshire Hathaway. So if you're assuming that Google doesn't know what they're doing and Berkshire Hathaway doesn't know what they're doing, I mean, at that point, it's just sometimes it's obvious. So in the short term, I do think that there's going to be pressure on these stocks. But in the long term, I think that they're going to print money like usual. So keep that in mind. It doesn't matter what the numbers on the earnings say this week. The numbers on the earnings are irrelevant. They don't matter. What matters is how much money, how much money they're spending on AI. And that's going to determine if they keep spending more money on AI, the price is going to go down short term. If they decide to change that, price is probably going to go up. And based on what I am seeing, based on what I'm thinking, I think a lot of these companies are going to keep raising AI spend. So that's number one. Be aware this week. Number two is we got the classic Trump, oh, we're not going to bomb them this weekend. Oh, we're going to take a break from bombing them, and oil went down. I mean, here's the reality, guys. I mean, look, I am not a war guy. I think war is bad for business. I think war is bad for humanity. And, when Trump came into office, he said he was going to end the wars. And instead, he's starting the wars, which I don't really agree with. But what we have to realize is that as annoying as these price actions are, I mean, it's like they're straight up manipulating the market, right? I mean, if you don't think that the market is manipulated by these politicians, it doesn't matter left, right, up, down, whatever side, they're both manipulating this shit, right? So what you have to remember is something like oil, something like that is very driven by news and very driven by the headlines. So I've been looking for an opportunity to, start to, hopefully short oil for some sort of first red day because, over the past, I don't know, couple of weeks, this thing rebounded 40%. And, it's down a little bit today, but I really just don't feel like that news is enough of a sustainable catalyst to warrant, more moves down in oil. You know, if they said they're, you know, in negotiations, the negotiation date is here, it's a ceasefire, it's this, it's that, whatever it may be, is more valuable than, hey, we didn't bomb them this weekend. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really convinced on the short on oil yet. You know, maybe this is like a preemptive thing where, you know, they tell us they're gonna stop bombing them, and then later today or tomorrow they say they're gonna do a ceasefire. I don't know. Only people that know are these, you know, insiders within, you know, the administration. So for me, I don't really see much of a, you know, opportunity there. What else? You know, we got some stocks moving today. We got EDBL, we got ENTX, we had SPRC moving, we had DCOY moving, CapR, biotech stock. So this stock is down 70% on the day on biotech results. And oftentimes these things are just a little bit too random. You know, you say, all right, it's down 70%. Maybe it's going to go down more. And then you say, oh, wait, maybe it's down 70%. Maybe it's going to rebound. The honest truth is every time I've tried to play some of these biotech names on data and results, I always lose money. I always somehow, some way manage to pick the wrong side of the trade. So I really just ignore these biotech things. You know, if it goes lower without me, let it. If it goes higher, let it. It's just something that I'm not really good at. It's something that I've identified that I'm not good at. So I try to ignore it. So yeah, with that being said, let's get started by building the watch list, and then we'll take it from there. So first things first is the way that we build the watch list is we always go to the previous day's watch list and we build from there. The reason why we go to the previous day's watch list because there's always stocks moving over multiple days, and we want to make sure that we don't forget about these names, you know? So let's start here. ADBV. ADBV, this stock has just been an ignore for me. You know, you can see the price action is super, super heavily manipulated. You know, I don't really think that there's much of an edge on this. The volume is drying out, and I just don't think that there is any type of opportunity. So I would say this ADBV is pretty much an ignore. So that's that. VIVK. VIVK, you know, has had a big push on Friday, kind of coming back down to reality today. You know, in a perfect world, I would like a red to green rejection to short it. So probably around like 290. 290, and you see this 315 area, you know, 1, 2, 3 times it rejected. So I'll probably look for 290 and 315 to short. VIVK, low hanging fruit, looking for 290, 315 to short. AMIX. AMIX volume is dried out. It doesn't really seem like there's much opportunity there. So nothing really there. SpaceX just continues to act weak. You know, I'm not really that excited on this SpaceX. You know, we had that long opportunity. I think it was this day on the 21st, where it was just like 10 red days in a row, and then it bounced. Now it failed that bounce and continues weaker. So I don't really see much of an opportunity there on this one. So those are the stocks that are moving last week. Now let's go to what's moving today. We have ENTX. This is an easy to borrow name. Float is a little bit larger. You know, I'd probably wait to see what the price action is on this, but I wouldn't mind like a 350 short, you know, a 350, 375 with a stop over pre-market high today's. So 350, 375, 375 areas to short with a stop over pre-market high today. This is easy to borrow. So mostly nail and bail mindset. EDBL. EDBL just seems like the main play of the day. You can see that there's support here around like 627, 625. So I would say until this 625 area breaks, to just kind of ignore it. You know, this is the key support area. If it loses 625, probably go all the way down to 4. But until it breaks that key area, probably going to be an ignore. So EDBL, 625 key support. Ignore this until that key, ignore this short until that key support breaks. Aside from that, SPRC, not really much volume today. CapR, I mentioned this is probably like gonna be an ignore. CAPR, biotech data, mostly ignoring this one. Um, what else out there? We have BIYA. So BIYA is moving, potential money flow. BIYA, potential money flow. So waiting for more information. So that's pretty much the watch list for this morning. VIVK, ENTX. Kind of monitoring where the money flow is going to go. As I mentioned, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather today. So by feeling a little bit under the weather, I also have to reduce my trading aggression. Can't be as aggressive trading this morning because I'm just not all there. Hopefully, after the market opens, after I'm done trading, I could go to the doctor, see what's up, try to feel better. But with that being said, I'll pass the baton over here to Steve, and then we'll get started live trading here in the next 15 minutes. As you guys know, we trade live every single day for MIC members. We open up the first 30 minutes on YouTube publicly. Later, probably this week, I'll do a free stream to keep this thing rolling. But today, I'm not really feeling too well, so I don't want to do it on a day where I'm not feeling well. So tune in sometime later this week. We'll let you guys know. We'll keep the stream running. But if you want to access the stream every day, just reach out to us. We also have a new YouTube video coming out later this week too at the New York Stock Exchange. So it should be a pretty busy week, pretty active week. And yeah, with that being said, Steve, I'm going to pass the baton over to you. I'm going to drink some tea, and we'll get started here in the next 15 minutes.
Sounds good. So I've kind of made a list. You guys could kind of maybe call it a bonus round, right? So I've got a list of some common questions I've been getting lately, and I want to kind of go through some of these topics and address them. Also, real quick, I want to talk about a DM that kind of a conversation I was having over the weekend with a member who's been here a while. I'm not going to mention his name because, we could keep it private unless he wants to. But this is a member I've known for years. I had the privilege of hanging out with him at a meetup in person. And, he's a great guy. He's very dedicated. He's always kind of struggled, from what I understand, with, risk management. And he recently switched to Cobra, right, a couple months ago. So he sent me an update on how he's been doing since the switch. And I know he was starting to gain some traction, with risk management and stuff like that previously. But from what he told me and what we talked about over the weekend, it was really interesting because he shared his June and July, calendars, and they were pretty solid, right? So he's definitely made some decent money the last couple months, which is great to see. And the way he did it was really interesting, and I wouldn't say surprising because we tell you guys this every day, right? But I would say that I'm glad to see it, and I want to share with you guys because if we keep saying it, that's one thing. But if you guys see members actually applying it and seeing the results, you know what I mean? Then I think that is kind of a different way to show you guys, right? With the proof, right?
Good, thank you.
With the results. So what happened with him is, he joined Cobra a couple months ago, and he was able to start using the max daily loss.
You can probably set them up, and I'll see what I can do.
So when he started using the max, and sorry if there's an echo, this room is kind of big. I switched places. So he started using the max daily loss. Then is what it did is, the max daily, as you guys know, I don't need to tell you guys, right? That basically caps your losses on a trade, besides a little slippage, possibly, but that caps, your loss. So you can't just revenge trade. You can't just stick around and keep trading it. You can't say, oh, wait, I think it's failing now. Your broker locks you out once you've hit a certain number, right? Now, sometimes it doesn't work out, and, you might hit the max daily and it might fail, right? Those times, yeah, like I could see how it's a little frustrating. It's happened to me. It's happened to everybody. But the trade-off is you will never be able to revenge trade or blow up your account or lose more than you planned, right? So the trade-off is huge. The trade-off is like having your seatbelt or your airbag in your car, right? It's saving your life. It's saving your account, right? It's saving your trading career potentially, right? So there's no question about the trade-off. And I would also say to limit the impact of the first point that I mentioned, which is, hey, what if, I hit my max daily and then it death candles or it fails, right? To combat that, we don't use our max daily for our stop limits, right? We use our stop limits for our stop limits. So to give you guys an idea, I've got like 2.5 or 3 stop limits before my max per ticker would hit, right? So I'm not using my max daily or my max per ticker to stop me out of a trade. You know what I mean? So if that's the case, then you shouldn't have the first problem anyway. So anyways, I don't want to, I talk about this every day, but I see members who need help and I see members who don't follow it. And I see members say, yeah, you say it daily and I didn't listen and I'm an idiot and look what happened. And I hate seeing those stories. So I don't want to share, those stories. I want to share a story of a member who's been here for several years and is seeing huge change because now his bad days are absolutely capped, right? So anyways, what he says here in one of our conversation is the max daily is taking all the emotions out and it's teaching me to be patient on my trades. So since June, 2 months, I'm green. And again, he shared his calendars. He says he's still working on not hitting his max loss on one trade, but his trading has changed a lot, especially when the max loss, he can recover from it and not be emotional. So he mentions it's the first step in the right direction, but 2 solid months of, green weeks essentially and green months is really great to see. And it could just be one little thing like that, that if you go back and look at all your trades, maybe you've got losers that are 5, 6, 7 times bigger than your average winner. And those kind of losers are really like an anchor, holding us back. So if you could go back and look at your numbers and you could take those trades out or cap them, at, let's say, 2 times an average win, right? Then I'm sure you'll see your numbers are a lot better. You were either became consistent those months or a lot less red or a lot more green than you would have been, right? So anyways, great job. Like I said, I'm not going to share his name because, it's personal, but really wanted to share this story. Cool. So some other things I want to talk about. I got this, like I said, I got this kind of list I want to go through. So first of all, join us in webinars if you guys are listening to me. If you guys are in Slack, come into webinars. I'm going to share everything I'm talking about there. So first of all, I had a question. I think it's a great question because, we have a lot of new members. Thank you, Tim. We have a lot of new members and this was a good one. So a member sent me an email and he said, hey, if Alex could make his screen size bigger, that would really help. I'm having a hard time seeing. So I'm going to share the screenshot in webinars. Here's a screenshot of what you guys can do. Where it says My Investing Club screen on the top, you just click those 3 buttons, right? Click those 3 buttons and you go down and you've got the option fit to window 50%, 100% original size, or you could increase it all the way up to 3x, okay? So what I usually do, because I watch on my laptop and I trade from my TV, it's a whole thing with me, right? But my eyes aren't the best, so I put it at like 100% usually, so I could see one of his screens really big, then I could scroll down if he's looking at the other one. But anyways, if you guys need help with that, if you're struggling, use these instructions or just reach out and I'll help you guys if you can't figure that out. But you can, so don't think that you can't increase it, or if you're having trouble seeing it, just make it bigger. Okay, next. I want to share with you guys sources that we have, just because we've got, like I said, we've got a lot of new members and I want to make sure that you guys are utilizing this stuff properly. Yeah, thanks, Corky. You can also hit Control plus mouse scroll and you can make the screen bigger or smaller. I'm going to test that out right now. Amazing. See that? I learned something new. Thank you, Corky. Okay. Control and use your mouse scroller and you can make the screen as big or small as you want in Zoom. That's the easier way to do it. Okay, thanks, Corky. So, thanks. I'm sharing this again in webinars. There's a mentoring group that every member, when you guys are new, you guys have access to. It's with James, Harry, and myself. James has been kind enough to set these up, or you guys can set them up, but usually they're already set up when you guys join. In that mentoring group, we welcome you guys in. We give you some basic instructions. I also do the same by a private DM. You guys have the ability to have a free mentorship call with James or Harry. I just shared the calendar there. Sorry, James and Harry, you might get booked up for the next couple of days. So feel free, if you guys are new, do that mentoring call. Is what they're going to do is, see where you're at, see where you want to be, help you kind of guide you towards the resources to obtain those goals. So definitely schedule those calls with them. Then I want to kind of tune you guys into some other resources we have. Main trading chat is kind of for lessons and continued education. Moderators and members are trading there all day. There's a lot of great lessons in there, a lot of charts, a lot of things that you could learn. If you guys have questions on charts, just feel free to thread the chart and ask. We've got a new member mentoring channel. You guys can ask questions there. You can request another free call, unlimited amount of calls. Sorry, REG. All you want in there. If you guys have any, thing you need help with, whatever, you can also obviously ask us in the mentoring group. But the new member one-on-one mentoring is a great place for everybody to see the questions and answers, because a lot of great questions, like the one about the zooming into the screen share. A lot of great questions get hidden, right? And we'd like to share it with you guys. So reach out to us or use the new member mentoring channel. And finally, we have after hours, which is kind of like you could talk about trading, you could talk about anything fun, you could post your fun pictures, your vacation stuff, whatever you guys want to talk about, minus anything too negative or political. But feel free to post in there. Cool. One more thing I just want to share. We still got about 4 minutes, so I got a little time. I want to share, just in case anybody needs it, want to share our 30-day roadmap. Everybody gets a copy of this when they join. It's in that first welcome message I mentioned to you guys. After hours welcome message, it's everywhere. Thanks, Daniel. Good stuff. So here it is again, or just check if it ever uploads, or just check the DM that we sent you guys and it's all there. It's not uploading, but it'll probably pop up in a second. I don't know why. So anyways, there it is. 30-day roadmap. It's got all the resources you guys could need when you get started. Anything else, just feel free to reach out. Cool. So next up on my list, so a lot of members did not accept their Slack invites I went through this morning. You guys have joined or signed up for a 30-day trial, and you're probably hopefully listening to me right now through Zoom. But if you sign up for full access, you've also got access to our entire community. We've got 2,500 members in here. We've got all these channels I was just mentioning to you guys and all these resources to help. We've got a full video library, courses, everything is there. So if you did sign up for the full trial, check your email, search Slack invite or just Slack. If you can't find it, just email me, stevenrh1@myinvestingclub.com, and I'll send you a new one. Okay, next up, I want to talk about Alex's sizing real quick. I had, I'm not picking on anyone specifically because I know there's like 5 of you that have messaged me about this. So trust me, I'm not directing it to you. I had a lot of questions on this lately, and Alex did as well. Let me just explain and let me do like a 30-second recap on this, okay? So Alex trades big size, bigger than myself, bigger than probably most of you here, right? Hopefully, if you're new, definitely bigger than you. It's very dangerous if Alex just says, I'm in X amount of shares, whatever his share amount is. It's more than your account could probably handle. So his starter size is much different than your starter size. So we'd prefer not to say the exact share size, because what's going to happen is somebody that just opened a 2.5K account is going to max out their account on his 5% starter, right? When the trade goes against them 5 cents, they're going to be out their account or stopped or whatever the case is. So what he does instead is he generally says the percentage size. So if you've got a plan on your trade, which you should, I get into that every day and how to plan in the workshop and all that. You should know that each trade, you're going to put X amount of shares on it. Let's just say your share size is going to be 1,000 on one trade. If he's in starter size, that's always 5 to 10%. If he gets up more, members are free to ask in the webinars channel. He oftentimes will say it, and that's the percentage, and that's what we use here instead of the actual size. Cool. So I got one more thing I want to talk about, but I'm going to mention it maybe tomorrow because the market's going to open here pretty quick. So if you guys have questions on anything I covered, feel free to reach out. If you're listening on YouTube, feel free to contact me if you want. If you have any questions you guys want to join, stevenrh1@myinvestingclub.com. Thanks, guys.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Later this week, we'll do a full stream for everyone on YouTube. Hopefully when I start to feel a little bit better. But yeah, that's the main thing to understand here is the sizing is my starter size, your account leveraged 100x. So that doesn't really help you. What